Hello everybody, it's Amanda. How are you doing? Today is Friday the 17th of April. I have just recorded a really long video that will be coming out probably Saturday. I'm stitching it together at the moment and it says it's going to take 4 hours to do that. And then I'll have to upload it, which will probably take another couple of hours, the way that the internet is going at the moment. So I thought, as it's going to take forever, I will just do a quick video for today because I haven't been online for a couple of days. And I know that a lot of people are struggling at the moment. Have to be honest, woke up this morning and it's a very grey day here and it's raining, and it's the first time that we've had rain in a while. And yeah, lockdown when it's grey and rainy is a different it's a whole different kettle of fish to when it's sunny and you can sit in your garden. I know some of you can't sit in your garden. I'm hearing from some of you that there's snow in parts of America still. Anyway, I'm literally just clearing up from the video that I've done this morning, and then I'm going to do a little reading for you. Please do watch the video. It's about 1 hour and 40 minutes. It's a long one that I'm going to put up over the weekend, if you want to, of course. You don't have to. But I think it's a really good one, and it weaves in the Titanic. The anniversary of the Titanic was this Wednesday, 107 years ago, I think it was, something like that. Have I still got the date? Sank in 14th to the 15th of April 1912. So I've actually channeled through this guy who is the one who was tapping out the SOS. I've also tapped out an investigative journalist called William Thomas Stead, who was on the ship and who died. And then we just went nuts, and we were also, I was channeling Leonard Nimoy, Spock. But he's so much more than Spock, of course, and also a very poignant channeling and reading linked into Dr. Li Wenliang, who is the whistleblower from China who first tried to alert the world to the virus. But all of those stories might seem very random to have all put together, but they all came in on the back of a piece of information this morning. So I tie it all up as a story, and I just show you how these pieces even are linked, and then we do some channeling. So I will put, because it's going to be a long video, I'll put some timestamps on it so you can tune into the bits you're particularly interested in, but all of it's pretty interesting. So that was this morning's work, and now it is 2:30. I haven't looked at a single email or anything yet. So, but I did want to just come on and do a little read for you. So that's what I'm going to do. So, and also just mention a few things. This is our daily catch up, Okay. Where to start? I wanted just to start, and I did mention it on the other video as well, just very briefly, this amazing guy. All of you on my Facebook page, we've been talking about him the last couple of days, but Captain Tom Moore, 99-year-old man who has raised, I think it's now £17 million for the National Health Service, and he's done it via walking around his, doing laps of his garden in his Zimmer frame. And he's a decorated World War II veteran, and it's like he's decorated twice over now, having raised all that money. He's an absolute living legend, and he's given people so much hope, and it's what Metatron said it was going to be. We were going to be shown brilliant light by the elders in our society and by the very young. And of course, the ones in the middle are shining as well. But, you know, there are some really important stories at the moment coming out from the two opposing ends of the spectrum of life. And he is just shining so bright. What an amazing man. Prince William said this morning, he's a one-man fundraising machine. And he sent, I think, the message to Tom. And then Tom's come back and he said, it's absolutely amazing that my super prince can say that. I just think it's so special, so special. So good on Tom. Good on Tom. Tom Moore, you see, he showed us as a nation and as a world that we can do more. He only wanted to raise £1,000. He's raised 17.7 million. The other thing that comes out about it, I think is worth saying is, oh, look at this. You can't make this stuff up. I just got this deck out because I want to read on it. But look what's on the bottom of the deck. A blessing for good work. He has done such good work there and has done such a good deed that will live on way after he sadly passes. He is 99. That money is going to go into the National Health Service. It's going to affect so many people. And people will be able to, I don't know, for example, have operations or procedures that they might not have been able to have had at the particular time that they needed it, which might extend their life or give them better quality of life. The ripples of that one man's actions are just so profound. So yes, a blessing for good work. He is being blessed, and it's just extraordinary. But what I was going to say, again, without wanting to be too political about it, but it came to me that in the week that he does this, it feels like it's been a very strange long week actually. But anyway, I think it was Monday, maybe it was Sunday or Monday, there was information in the newspapers here in the UK that they were having to draw up a system, a point system basically, based on your age in the event that they can't treat everybody because so many, are getting sick at the same time. And so I think if you're over the age of 70 in particular, you have got a lot of points against you, and the ventilators and the intensive treatment that you might need are going to go to people who are younger, 50 and younger. And certainly when you get up to the ages of 80 or 90, I don't know what the point was for 80 or 90, you are bottom of the pile in terms of the care that you might potentially get. And of course, these are worst case scenarios based on there not being enough to go round, but it was there in black and white, laid out. This is the point system. And then we have this man of 99 who comes in from nowhere. No one's heard his name before, and he raises £17.7 million. And it's climbing. Every hour you go on and look at what the number is now, it's just climbing. So he's shown them, hasn't he? Yeah, he's 99, but I think his life's valid, just as much as somebody who's younger, don't you? Oh gosh, so many layers of lessons in all of this. Just moving my camera to where it's a bit lighter because it is terribly dark and grey. So yeah, that's for him, a blessing for your good work. Well done, Tom. Has to be said that in the UK, we've got a lot of infections, and just reading the papers this morning, they're talking about, the World Health Organization, we won't go into all the arguments about the WHO at the moment, but they are saying they're branding the UK's rise to 103,000 cases as a dark cloud dragging down Europe's positive performance. With their bar charts, which show the UK as being one of the most infected countries. Do you know what I felt when I heard that news? I actually thought, well, if we've got the biggest rate of infections, actually, there's the biggest cleansing going on here. You know me, I always like to try and see the highest potential for any scenario. But I really feel that it's like there's some big cleansing going on in the UK. There's some big cleansing going on in the USA and in other countries as well. But if we're leading the way in Europe in terms of mass infection, then we know that disease brings in its wake cleansing as well. I won't go into that. I've talked about it a lot on other videos. There's a big cleanse going on right now in the UK, and the UK holds, I know these are a little bit contentious in terms of where the chakra points are around the world, and not everybody agrees where they all are and where each one is. But certainly there are people that talk about, and I've said this before, that the Earth Star chakra is located in London and the Heart chakra is located in Glastonbury area, the Avalon energy. And you might think, well, the UK is just this piffling little island, the size of, not very big. Why would it have two of these big centres? Well, I don't know, to be perfectly honest, but you know, look at the number of people that live here. Look at the number of people that gravitate towards the UK. Look at what has come out of the UK in terms of inventions, culture, art, business. You know, it's been a breeding ground for a lot of good. It's also been a breeding ground for a lot of ill in the world. Of course it has. But there's a big cleanse on. So that's what I thought when I heard that those statistics, that rather than us being this dark cloud dragging down the rest of Europe, actually, maybe we're the ones that are scrubbing our own backyard the best. Ooh, contentious, but I've said it. Right. Not that really we want a competition in terms of who's got the most infection. Of course we don't. We had our clap last night at 8 o'clock in the street. Everybody came out. I was very brave. I brought my drum out. I mean, this is the bonkers thing about this year, 2020. If you'd have said to me, I would have been standing out in my garden at 8 o'clock in my pajamas, banging my drum on Thursday evening on January the 16th, 2020, at the start of this year, I would have thought, what planet are you on? You know, I don't go out in my pajamas at all, and I certainly don't go banging my drum. There I was. And there was all the other neighbours. They didn't have drums, but they did have their saucepans, and they had their voices, and they had their clapping. 8 p.m, clapping for the National Health Service, clapping to raise the vibration. And yeah, I belted out the drum. A few people were like, but I think they were thinking, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't care what they were thinking. I think they enjoyed it. Too bad if they didn't. Bella was scared of it. It was quite interesting. I started to drum in the house before I went outside, and she was a little bit nervous of it. And it was, I knew that she was picking up the vibration of the drum, the sound frequency of it. Frightened isn't maybe the word. It was just she stepped back from it. She was aware it was a sound that either deserved respect or space. Space, I'm hearing her saying. It required space. Dogs have got very interesting, and not interesting, very sensitive ears, haven't they? So maybe she sensed something in that drum that I wasn't picking up. She's saying to me that it's almost like there's an energy coming through from her, which is to do with respecting the reverberation of the drum and how far a drum can travel in sound. And that we do a drum roll, don't we, for big events in life. So she knew that me getting out that drum was significant. Anyway, yeah, how are you all doing? I'm feel pulled to use this deck today, which is Blessed Be by Lucy Cavendish. One of you sent me this. Thank you very much. Let's have some blessings. Okay, Friday the 17th of April. Oh, those of you on Facebook, I must just quickly say, sorry, those of you on YouTube, my Facebook people know this. Jane and I have been nominated for an award for our cards, the Archangel Metatron Self-Mastery deck. And if you don't mind, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to put the link in the description box. And if you can vote for us in terms of the best product, that would be wonderful. It's the industry award. I think they're like the trade body for the mind, body, spirit world. VOVR, I think they're called. And yeah, it's the 2020 awards. So we've been nominated in the best product category for this deck, which many of you have got. So you have to actually, if you want to do it, press on the link, and then you have to actually nominate other categories as well, which you may or may not, know the things, but give people, just go on your gut feel in terms of what looks good. But those of you that do know this, and hopefully know it is good, yeah, if you could give us a little mark, me and Jane would be very appreciated. That would be lovely. We're about to start on our second deck. Well, within about 6 weeks or so, probably from May onwards, we're going to be exploring our next deck. And the trouble is I've got 3 different decks in my head, which I feel I'd like to do. And obviously we're only going to be doing one. Maybe you could put in the comments below what deck you would feel you feel you need at the moment. I'll tell you what the contenders are, shall I? The lead contender is a deck linked into Christ consciousness, which would also include Christ, Joseph, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, God the Father, I'm suddenly hearing. Oh, okay. That would be one idea, one concept. I'm also very called to do a colour deck as well, a colour oracle deck. There is already a good colour oracle deck out on the market by Inner Segal, but I'd quite like to do my own. So that's another idea. Ascended Masters is a potential idea. Whether I do that with Jane or somebody else, I'm not sure. I don't know. What do you think? What do you need? Tarot deck even. Could even do a tarot deck. I don't know. Let me know. Anyway, that's enough of all that for now. Let's just go into these cards. What are the messages for today and over the weekend then, please, Metatron? A blessing for a mother. And on the bottom of the pack, a blessing to ease loneliness and bring companionship. Well, I mean, in my life, my mum is in self-isolation on her own. Probably this is the 4th week. And I go and drop shopping off with her and I stand 2 meters apart and we have a little chat over the garden fence. But that's it. She's not into technology, so we're not able to FaceTime or anything like that. You know, I'm sure she is lonely. Multiply that by goodness knows how many other people are around the world, not just mothers, of course. But for me, I can see that links to mother. Oh, I've just had a beautiful message through. I'm hearing that Mother Earth, Gaia, is lonely without us. Oh, how lovely is that? Now, that is beautiful on so many levels because, to be perfectly honest, many of us disrespect Mother Earth. Many of us have trampled over her, abused her, polluted her, taken her for granted, not given her a second thought. But she's missing us. She's missing us being able to swim in her seas, walk across her land. You see, she's the great teacher. Because despite the fact that many of us have abused her and neglected her and polluted her and overconsumed from her, she still loves us. She is this expression of complete and utter unconditional love. She tolerates what we do upon her. And I've always said, haven't I, that she tolerates us up till the point where she just has to have a shrug, you know, and just cast us. When I say cast us off, I'm talking about she has to have her release, be it through earthquake, volcano, whatever, you know. But she tolerates a great deal upon her and that is done to her, but yet she loves us and she misses us. And so it's this beautiful message in that we're missing her. Many of us are not able to go out to the places that we love to be, but she's missing us too. And now I'm looking at this blessing for a mother. Maybe this is to do with us blessing Mother Earth, actually. Blessing Mother Earth and all that she gives us. Funny how I was just talking about what deck should it be that we create, because I also feel there's a shamanic deck wanting to come through, linked into the earth. In many ways, that could be a very interesting one to explore because as above, so below. I felt a bit like a lone wolf a lot of the time in terms of really believing but I know you believe as well, because we're all part of the same tribe, that you can do all of it. You can do shamanic practices and angelic. You know, a few years ago, it was never the twain shall meet. You're either a shamanic practitioner or you're into the angels. You're not one of, it has to be one or the other. And of course it's not. We have both aspects within us. Anyway, we've got those two cards, very earthy cards. Let's see what else. Let's have another two cards, please. I'll come back to that loneliness in a minute. Just want to see the other two cards. A blessing on the senses that gift the world to you. Wow. A blessing of the air on the bottom of the pack. You see, this is an airborne virus that we're experiencing around our world at the moment, but there are blessings that come out of it that you can't see. Let's look at these one by one. I want to go back to the loneliness one. A blessing to ease loneliness and bring companionship. So this is God, Spirit, Metatron, the angels, recognizing that some are feeling lonely at this time. And wanting you to draw on your own inner strength. You see on the card here, she's got a sword. The sword to me is about inner strength. The fact that we're being asked to call on our own inner strength at this time, to stay strong. I'm hearing that this too shall pass for those that are lonely, those that feel isolated. One of you, I can't remember where I saw it, one of you said something linking into this term social distancing, and how really we should rephrase it and call it physical distancing rather than social distancing, because the truth is when it goes back to sort of the new normal, I think social distancing is still going to be in place to a degree for a number of, I want to say years, but you know, I'm sorry, I know that's not going to be a well-received message, but it's certainly months. Social distancing is going to be around for months and months and months to come. And that term, as one of you pointed out, has sort of negative connotations. If we're socially distancing ourselves from each other, we're missing out on the best of humanity, and in terms of closeness and warmth and touch, you know, people that are on their own, or even people that are in partnerships where there isn't close intimacy or something. Touch is something that you really miss. You miss being hugged. You miss being comforted. And, you know, if you're on your own, you've got none of that. And even the ones who are doing quite well in let's call it social isolation for the moment, and you might be FaceTiming each other or whatever, it can never be the same as actually being in the same room as somebody. I was thinking myself, you know, when I am able to see the rest of my family, for example, and I've got an aunt and uncle that we see quite regularly, and we always have like barbecues in the summer, and I love going up and seeing her. And of course the most natural thing in the world is you go into the house and you give them a cuddle, don't you? Give them a hug. And it's like, I was thinking, I don't know whether we're going to be doing that so much. So this word social distancing, somebody was saying physical distancing might be better, but I mean, that has connotations as well, doesn't it? I mean, distance is distance. A blessing of the air. You see, air. Distance makes me think of air, because air is to do with space. There's something coming through here linked into, let me get the words right. That this blessing on the air that is making us be apart, and even though we're missing each other's comfort and touch and proximity, it is something to do with, it's about helping us to own our own space, because there's always an upside to everything. So even though you can't reach out, you can't touch, you can't hold hands, etc., if you're not, you know, if you're not in the same house as somebody, for example, there's this thing about, okay, that's sad because there is distance between you and the one you want to be with, or the person that you want to see, whether it's a friend, family, lover, whatever. but it's the blessing that is coming in, or the opportunity that's coming in, is for you to really be owning your own space. We give it's about boundaries as well. We allow other people into our space too readily, actually. That's the truth. So there might be some benefits in this going forward, which is that when we go back out into society, and there are going to be new rules, we will probably have to wear masks. There will have to be a degree of social distancing, physical distancing, whatever you want to call it. But start to see that actually you're being given more space around yourself, rather than people energetically always being too close to you or invading your space. And I'm being shown the supermarket, for example. Any empath knows this. I knew it when I was a little girl. I always remember going into Marks and Spencer's for some reason, and I would start to feel really odd, you know, almost panicky. Now I understand it, almost like a panic attack, although it wasn't. It never manifested that badly. But I would start to get a bit of a sweat on, my heart rate would go up. It was anxiety coming in. I now realise that as a child, of course, I was picking up everybody's energies in a department store type setting. And it's the same with supermarkets. So the fact that now, when we go back and when shops open, you're still going to have to keep your distance from people, I think there could be a good side to that. There could be a good side to that. Because it's about preserving your own space. And it also seems to be linked into the fact that as our light body increasingly activates and expands, we are filled with more light. You all understand that. But equally, it will make sense that your aura is going to be expanding as well, isn't it? You know, the aura will be expanding when you're really breathing into your own I am essence. It will be expanded. And so therefore you need more space. So I love the way that really what is being shown here by Spirit is that in every single challenge, there is also an opportunity. And that is the truth, you see. That's what we always need to be remembering. In any difficulty, in anything that comes in which feels like a difficulty, there's always a blessing. You see, I'm being shown in my mind's eye now an image that I saw on the news last night. It was from somewhere in America. It could have been Michigan. I'm sure it's not representative of everybody in Michigan. It might not have even been Michigan, but it was like a small little protest group. There was only about 30 of them, but they were storming this building basically, and they were protesting about infringement of their public right to go about their business or whatever it was. And their faces were contorted with hate and rage. It was a horrible photograph, actually. And the ones that were in the photograph particularly were women, which made it even worse. You know, it's like these contorted, angry faces. And they had their faces up against this glass door, whether it was a town hall or whatever it was, I don't know. And they were contorted in rage. And it was like, you know, our rights are being taken away because we're in lockdown. But the joke of it all was they were like all huddled together, like in a great big knot. They couldn't have been closer together. Whereas actually what was needed in that moment was to sort of like align, breathe, expand your aura. All is okay. You know, we've got this. This isn't forever. This too shall pass. You know, relax, chill out. There's always a flip side to everything. So, see the blessings that are coming in on the air. And I'm seeing it here, as I've just described to you. Loneliness, as I'm saying, it's to do with... It really is a recognition from Spirit that it is difficult out there for a lot of people, mentally. A lot of people are struggling. But to dig deep, to know that God is always around you and within you. That this too shall pass, as I say. Very much she's surrounded by the green ray. The green ray, you see, the green is about expansion. It's the same message I've just said. Green is about expansion. Green is about freedom. Green is about growth. Green is about space. Look at that. Within her loneliness, she's surrounded by the green ray. Green helps you to... Because the thing with loneliness, as a lot of other... feelings that we go through, is that when we're really feeling it intensely, it can become a very insular thing. It's like you can become, you retreat. Loneliness by nature, you're on your own, you retreat. It can be, it's very isolating. But actually she's surrounded by the green ray here, which is saying that even in that feeling of isolation, breathe in the green ray, because the green ray will help you to feel as though there is space, and within that space you can create positive energy for yourself that can lift you, that can balance you. I've got the Green Man painting behind me here, okay? It's almost as though the spirit of nature can come to you, okay? And I'm not being flippant here by saying literally by opening the window, you can bring the energy of nature into you, even if you can't actually go and stand on the hill and breathe in the great big gulps of air. You can bring it into you. So work with the green ray, anybody that's feeling lonely. And now I just want to look at this card, a blessing on the senses, the gift of the world to you. Yeah, so, they're lovely cards, aren't they? Who did the artwork on them? Let's give the artist a shout out. The artwork was done by Jane Star Wheels. Very lovely. So card 7, a blessing on the senses that gift the world to you. Yeah, okay, so we experience the world through our senses, through our eyes, through what we can smell, through what we can feel, through what we can touch, what we can sense. I'm hearing worlds within worlds. So it's as though some aspects of the world are being shut off to us at this moment in time. We can't go travelling. I was watching a TV show yesterday. It's great fun, actually. It was Gordon Ramsay. I'm just going to take this off, I'm getting hot. Gordon Ramsay, Gino DiCampio, and some other guy who I think is a waiter, but he's been on TV. And they're like these 3 naughty lads. They're like the new version of the Likely Lads, if anybody remembers that in the UK. And they travel round and they sort of get themselves into trouble, basically. But they were in Mallorca. Where were they yesterday? Oh, no. I think they were in... No, they were in America. They were in America. And there was this shot of them going paddleboarding in the sea. And, oh, God, it looked lovely. It looked so lovely. And there was part of me that just thought, oh, my God, I'd love to be there. I'd love to be in that sea. I'd love to be away from this area at the moment and just, yeah, somewhere different. But you can't, okay? So it's just the truth. You can't. You're not allowed to. So what we have to do instead then is realise that the senses that would have been brought alive by the turquoise water, the warm sunshine, the different language, for example, the different culture, the different people, well, that's not available, but yet you can re-experience the world through your senses that you have differently. And the video that I'm about to put out tomorrow, I know this sounds a bit strange, but Leonard Nimoy, Spock, one of the things he was talking about is how important it is for the brain and the mind to constantly be renewing themselves with new experiences. And he actually brought it down to a really practical level in terms of lockdown, so that you change, for example, the type of things you're eating or the combination of foods that you're eating. You close your eyes and you re-visualize the room that you're in. You know, the 4 walls that you're staring at all the time don't have to be the same 4 walls. In your mind's eye, you can recreate anything. You know, senses include your 6th sense as well, your intuition. So there's something here to, you know, it's like if you're lucky enough to have a garden, actually, rather than just looking out on it and thinking, oh, I need to go out and do something there, get out there and do it. You know, go and actually literally smell the roses, or I don't know, mow the lawn and actually smell the lawn, as opposed to just doing it and not really noticing it. So there's something to do here about the senses being brought alive by the world that you are living in right now. I'm also being shown senses that are in overload, and it's particularly people that are working in hospitals and care homes and schools and prisons, where either there's disease or there is trouble. or just a lot of people, a lot of sensory overload as well. So, you know, obviously it can work either way. If you're in overload in terms of your senses, then you need to be almost, I always use visualization to help with this. So if there's too much noise, I imagine literally I'm wearing like earmuffs, okay? If I'm seeing too much, it may be that I'm imagining I've got a pair of glasses on that have actually got, you know, shaded slightly, so I'm not having to see the full extent of maybe the horror that's in front of me if I'm working really on the front line, for example. You know, you take my point. Well, so those were the cards. Very good. 35 minutes. I think I'll stop there, guys, because I feel like I've been talking all day. It's now saying 2.5 hours time for this to stitch itself together, so it's speeding up. But anyway, yeah, watch out for my other video over the weekend. I think it's going to be a good one, and I think you'll enjoy it. So much love to everybody. See you all soon. See you on Monday. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye for now.